What's up going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode in our series. This is currently
Part two.
part two, episode two. Today's kind of a specialer series, more special part of the series. Uh, we have our first guest, Aiden, Mr.
Hey,
Land. What's going on, Aiden?
nothing much.
Uh, we decided that we wanted to go down memory lane as we often do in our lives and check out Cream. Now, Cream, if you don't know, on my channel is a skit series, a slapstick series that me and Mr. Land did back in the day, about a year or so ago. We just recently added the second and maybe final season of the series, and Cole Handy here wanted to come by and say, "Hey, let's go explore.
What's going on?
Yeah, let's look into it." And he wants to ask questions about what was going on, what happened,
Yeah.
how we feel about it.
Get a little behind the scenes of everything too.
Right.
Figure out the story and some lore, the Cream world.
Right. There's a lot to it. Some that may never see the light of day, sadly. So, we're just gonna hop right into it. So, if you guys want to press play, we'll go ahead and pause it.
Yeah. Everybody ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
This is Jeffrey. He's a normal kid. He has chores, plays games, has friends, and he plays basketball. The norm. But Jeffrey is about to go on, well, a not so much normal kid adventure. Oh, who's that, you say? Well, he is the one who stole my cream. And who am I? Well, you will just have to figure that one out later on.
All right.
All right.
So, by the way, Aiden's here. I don't know how you
Yeah.
did that, but halfway through us watching the video, he popped up.
I pressed the turn on camera thing and it worked.
You know what? We just realized, Aiden. Now you can
What?
do webcam episodes on your gaming series now.
Yeah.
Now people can see you freak out. It's pretty sick, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Well, that's
Exciting.
Mr. Land. Go check him out on YouTube. Jesus, we were in the middle of watching this episode. We were just like, oh,
He just
he's
popped
there,
up.
and he was upside down. All
I
right,
didn't expect it to work. I thought it would just do nothing.
all right. So, all right, Cole, shoot.
So you did explain this to me earlier, but I don't think I wasn't. I was trying not to listen as much as I really wanted to because I wanted to wait for this to hear, I guess, intake all of it of what you were explaining.
Right.
But so who is this narrator character? What is his placement in the story?
So, in the first and second season, the narrator plays as quite literally just a third party character who has no official role. He's there to sit down and talk to tell what's going on in the story as if you're not catching it. Tells the stories where there's no description of what exactly is happening. Later on in the series, if we do ever decide to continue, there is a deeper meaning behind the narrator himself. There's a lot to it, actually, from what I think I want to do with the series, later in life once we get situated. But as of right now, the narrator in these seasons is just a narrator, as if me and you were to sit down and talk about what's going on in the scenes.
What does he actually have to do with like the cream though?
So
Because he said like something it was like stolen from him, something like that.
yeah, Okay, so like I said, in the current story, it has nothing to do with him. But what I wanted to do is like, there's a lot of time travel and meta universes going on with it all, and that after this all is done, there's supposed to be the narrator is like an evil character who is traveling through time, and the cream is like the solution to living forever. And so this story is supposed to like continue on to realize it's the story of living on forever, and Jeffrey, trying to get his cream, because that's how he, if you ever notice that Jeffrey, he sits in bed all day, he puts on his cream, he eats the food in the desk, and that's it. And he's done it for years and years. If you ever notice, as the series goes on,
Yeah.
30, 32, 37 years later, Aiden, something like that,
Something like that. Yeah.
he still looks, and obviously you grew since then, but that was a whole year later in real life, but he's still
Yeah.
the same. Nothing has changed. And so the cream itself is something that allows you to live forever. And so the narrator is this meta evil character. This is giving away story, but I don't know if it'll ever actually go onto video platform. But the idea of it
So
is that he's like an evil character trying to capture the cream, and Jeffrey is sent out to do that for him. He's the placeholder.
Yeah.
so how did Jeffrey actually get his hands on it though? Like, how did he obtain the cream?
You know,
Is there any backstory behind that at all, or?
I would like to say it was a Christmas gift from his grandpa.
Yeah. Something about.
I would like to say it's a Christmas gift from his grandpa.
Nice.
That's all I'd say. I couldn't tell you. We didn't think about that. We were just like,
No.
we have this. Yeah, we
he
didn't.
just had it. He just introduced to the story.
That's where it started, with the cream, and that's all we know. It's just a magical cream dropped in on his doorstep.
Right. Well, I think we can continue on to the basketball bandit then.
All right. So, are y'all ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
Every day, Jeffrey had the same routine. He would wake up and get out of bed, put his favorite cream on his hands and rub it in. He would go over to his drawer and he would eat something out of it. It didn't matter what was in the drawer. Whatever was in there, he would eat it. And if there was nothing, then he would starve. He would go back to his cream and he would put it on once again. And then he would lay down and he would do it all over again the exact next day. This was Jeffrey's routine, and he liked it. So when the cremator came and stole Jeffrey's cream, he knew what he had to do. He quickly went to every single thrift store in town and acquired the most innovative outfit that would aid him on his journey. A beanie to aid him in his travels, to make sure that he doesn't get hit by anything, and if he does, it won't hurt. A simple orange vest to keep him warm in the summer heat. A tie-dye shirt wrapped up to be an adhesive or a bandage to aid him in future references. A magical slingshot because, well, it's magical. Why not? And a go-go gadget watch disguised as a regular ugly watch to, keep anyone from noticing. And with that, Jeffrey jumped into his closet and changed into his outfit, eager to travel to the rest of his journey.
Got it. We go to the basketball court.
Yeah! Stop in the name of cream! Ah!
Who are you?
I am the basketball bandit. To get past here, you've got to beat me in a game of pig. Well, come on. We haven't got all day.
Where do you want to start? Oh, that.
Gotcha, bitch!
I want to make a note right there. Not only the
Okay.
part I literally jumped on top of him, and then we freeze framed it before I hit him. I didn't knock you over, did I?
I don't think so.
I almost did. You got scared.
Yeah.
I
I did a coward.
Yeah, I jumped on top of him. But before that, I want to note that during this entire series, all the way up until actually now I have a tripod. But before, we had just this right here. This is our camera.
so
This
bad.
is what we use to record things with. I remember whenever we did the scene where he hit me in the head with a milk jug, the phone was sitting on a box and a paint can. And then whenever we did the part where I jumped on him, as you can tell, I'm obviously recording him walking into the sunset, and then all of a sudden the camera switches like down here. During this spot, the camera is sitting on a rock on the floor with the milk jug that he slapped me in the head with, pointing into the sunset. So
I really wish I could harder.
during this, you'll either see that one of us is not in the scene, that's because we're recording, or the camera is put into some stupid spot because we had nothing else to do. Anyways, shoot.
So, did this character Jeffrey? Did he know like what he was going? Because it was so sudden that somebody had stolen his cream, right?
Yeah.
Did he know like what he was looking for, like where he was gonna go, like how he was gonna find it?
I think we decided. That's a good question. I think we decided that it was like, the narrator talked to him in his dream. You know, everything that was going on in the narrator was going on in Jeffrey's head. You know, it's all from Jeffrey's perspective. So everything that's going on is with Jeffrey. So we decided somewhere along the lines that everything that he knew that he was doing and why he was doing it was because he was told, and it was like he was like, all right, what else am I gonna do? I need my cream. And then so that was it. He just was like, we gotta go get it.
I think that would have been a cool aspect to add to kind of be able to look into.
What do you mean?
How, having said like the narrator kind of talks to him in a sense,
Yeah, we were gonna do that, but
kind of leads him on his journey.
we were gonna do that. We had so much more to add, but like I said, this didn't go on. We were doing it like crazy, weren't we, Aiden? We were making videos like crazy during CAP. CAP was
Yeah.
a program that I was doing during school. CAP was a program where I could graduate early and finish school. So I was out of school a lot while he was still going. So every time he got out of school, we would make or record a video for this. So, and then I graduated, and it took a whole year to get anything else out of it.
Yeah.
So we had so much more that we wanted to do with it. We just didn't have the time. But we were gonna add in like where Jeffrey and the narrator were having comedic, humorous like slaps at each other. You know, like, oh,
Yeah.
you're going the wrong way, said the narrator. Like Jeffrey would be like, I know where I'm going. You know, silly stuff like that. We were gonna do
Yeah.
that, but we just Not only did we not know how, but we just didn't have the time. Um, like we didn't know how, first of all, because the audio issue. This was the
Yeah.
very first time that we were learning how to do YouTube and editing and making videos. As you could tell on the top up here, whenever we press play on a video, the video is made with KineMaster, which is a mobile editing app. Very good for beginners.
Yeah.
But oh, dogs are going at it, dude. But we literally had no idea how to talk into a microphone, or in this case, a phone, and put that into a video without there actually being a video there. Like, if I were to say, all right, welcome to the first episode of Cream, but it would be plastered over a video, we didn't know how to do that. So it took us forever. I ended up sitting in a closet. I ended up sitting in his closet and talking into a microphone, or talking into my phone, and then exporting it into YouTube and then out of YouTube as an MP3 audio. So it was like a whole day's process just to get a couple of voice lines out for that intro spot where I'm talking about his items, and we could have done that better. I feel like it
That is,
all.
yeah, that is a lot of work to go through to do something small like that.
Well, we didn't know how.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
the easiest way at the time. Nowadays, be like, all right, I'll just.
Yeah, I feel like if you were to work on that now, like if you had just started this project now, it would have ran way smoother.
Oh yeah, I mean nowadays I just talk into a microphone and then export it MP3, easy done. Compress
Yeah.
it, whatever. I know things now. We know things now.
Yeah.
What about
Man, it
what
took you
about the
like
crema-
what?
Sorry,
What about the cremator?
the cremator.
Who is he in the story? What
So
does he do?
the cremator is from I talked about timelines and time travel from
Yeah.
future seasons. The cremator was sent back in time. The idea that we had originally before anything was there was like a Terminator character, and he was coming back in time after Jeffrey, and instead of the Terminator, we called him the Cremator, and so he's quite literally from the same timeline as the narrator, and they're both going for the cream. The cremator got to it first.
So they are working against each other though.
Yes, it is a war. Jeffrey is caught between a war, and it's all his fault.
And he didn't know about
And
it.
he doesn't even know. He doesn't even know.
Okay. Nice. What about the basketball bandit? And why the basketball court? Like, how did that come into play? Character play?
Quite.
Like, what thought up that character?
Okay, so quite literally, we during the recording session, we were like, all right, so we need you to walk around. We need some footage. We need to just walk around of you exploring. We were going to have a quest line like an RPG game where you go from here, point A to point B, acquire that item. As you could tell, he got the basketball acquired. We were going to have a whole episode of him going from point A to point B and attacking characters. We ended up not having enough time. That's why the video ended with to be continued, and then it not continuing for a whole year. But so what happened was, he's walking around on this side of the house, but we wanted to make it so that he could get to the other side of the house, and it makes sense. So we thought of the character, the basketball bandit. He was sent in by, by whoever. Everyone's going back in time to try to get this cream. I believe that. I think that what was it? The cremator sent him. Aiden?
I think so. Something like that.
Yeah, so I think it was the cremator sent the basketball bandit to kidnap and or kill Jeffrey to stop him from coming after the cremator to get his cream, because he was scared of him. Everyone's scared of Jeffrey. Jeffrey is a big deal in this series. Obviously, he's the protagonist. So, the basketball bandit was sent out as a mercenary, I guess, to capture Jeffrey, and he does succeed, as you can tell.
So then what takes place after that? Because there wasn't technically that was the end of season 1, right? Because Grand Theft Auto just kind of comes out as part of the story that's taken somewhere else with two completely different characters.
Yeah, so Grand Theft Auto, which is coming up next, is a side story, but also canon at the same time, if that makes sense. it takes place between two different characters who you don't know anything about in this current time. We planned on making more about it in the future, but we purely didn't have time, as you can tell. This was the last episode we made of Cream before I moved out to my dad's house, or to my grandparents' house. So so we just didn't have time to expand on the story, but
Did you have an idea of what was going to happen after that to be continued though?
oh yeah, we had a whole story planned out. We actually made another video. We took it down and made it not canon for all the people who have seen it, just because we didn't like the direction that it was going to be going into. But basically, the idea was the basketball bandit has captured Jeffrey and tied him up into the chair that Aiden's currently sitting in. He tied him up into the chair, and that was going to be the trailer for season 2. Was Aiden tied up in the chair and Jeffrey, or the basketball bandit, talking to Jeffrey, trying to figure out what's going on and why. But yeah, so that was kind of the direction we wanted to take it. But due to timing, we ended up doing this, the Grand Theft Uno thing, and then obviously a year later we came out with Grandpa's Gift and Curse and the Voodoo Man and all that stuff, which essentially on its own is a side story, a side quest of sorts.
So, does he ever even get the cream back? Does he find the cream?
It's yet to be told. It's not done yet. We're not done yet.
Not done yet?
Not done yet. I want to say that we're going to continue to be making it, and I don't see a reason why we can't continue to make it. Season 2 was kind of iffy just because it was like a side story. We didn't know the direction we wanted to go at the time.
Yeah.
But I feel like we can continue with the knowledge we have now. I wanted to make like a cinematic story out of it, even if it is just silly 2010 feeling YouTube video skits. I wanted there to be a story, and I kind of still do. And we may be done with it, but I don't want to be done with it. I feel like we can still do more. At this current time, there is no end of the story.
Okay.
I mean, in later days, we might be making more, and you might be a part of them. You might be in the world.
In some point in the future, if it is decided to do more of this story, I would love to come on and obviously play as some kind of character.
Right. Add to the idea.
But mostly, I would love to come in on a production standpoint and kind of help you out, especially with camera work, because that's one thing that I've learned a lot and I've gotten really well with the kind of shots that I like to take.
Right.
In a lot of vlogs and everything. So I'd love to come in and take a standpoint on that.
And we would
help out with the whole look for everything.
We would love to have you on with it. Like I said, I mean, once this all quarantine stuff ends, I can come by and we can make it happen. I mean, I can even pick up Aiden. We can go on over to your place and do that if it's possible. With or without, we could do it. I'm very much into the idea of continuing it. But due to obviously the times of life right now and travel, it's just one of those things. It takes time.
Let me ask you this though: would you rather go from where it is right now, and would you start where season 2 ended and keep on with season 2, or would you want to make a season 3 and just set a whole new story in the Cream world?
I don't know, Aiden. This is kind of both of our question here. What do you think?
Man, I mean, I'd like to continue, but it just seems like it's difficult from how we left off.
It's very dragged on. It feels.
Yeah.
Um.
So ran out of ideas or something.
I saw a lot of potential there. I still see a lot of potential.
Yeah.
I think if there ever is a reboot of this series, I think I see more potential and honestly just restarting from the beginning, keeping the same story but adding more detail.
So you're thinking of like a remastered kind of thing.
Just like remastered, but still keep this up for reference, obviously, and for like people to go look at and for us to look at and see how it was. And especially if you were to take the same thing and just revive it, kind of in a sense.
I think it'd be a great
Make it
idea
fresh.
to
Yeah.
sit down and restart and remake that would be a great idea to sit down and
Yeah.
remake the teaser trailer and remake the whole story in general, to remake it and remaster it and make it to up to date standard, because obviously we have so much more skill and potential. I feel
Yeah.
like although I do
Like
think these were good, I loved watching them. I like to sit down and watch them every once in a while just because it's a very
Oh yeah,
nostalgic
I
feel.
think it's great.
I think
love
they're good. I still do. I think they're good. Um, but that's a really good idea. I wouldn't mind going back, and especially if we could have a bigger cast. I mean,
Yeah.
even just with you, the first season on its own. That is, we only need 3 people that you fit in as the basketball bandit. You fit in.
Yeah.
Boom, done. We can make that possible. Sounds like a great idea to me.
Yeah,
I
it
think
does.
I think it could work. That's all I'm saying.
I think that's a great idea. I had never even thought about that. All right, I think we spent enough time talking,
Yeah.
reveling about episode 2. So
Let's go on to Grand Theft Uno.
let's go on to Grand Theft Auto. 3, 2, 1.
Yep.
Go ahead. That was I think that's one of my favorite episodes.
I
And
think it's great. I love the
Yeah.
style of it.
it's so silly. We didn't want to have. We wanted to have one where we just didn't talk.
I think it's a good. I think that was awesome. I thought it was. I love the style of those 2 characters that don't make any sense.
The
One
outfits.
thing that I look at though, and I don't know if you meant to do it that way, but having those 2 characters come out of Jeffrey's house, make it look like they're in Jeffrey's house. Are they supposed to be in Jeffrey's house?
Oh, you put me in a difficult spot, dude. We didn't have any other exit point. We're 2 kids recording out of our house. What do you want from us? Now that I think about it, dang, you actually got me there.
I mean, it was either the front door.
Is that the
that had
front door or
cameras
the
staring
back?
At us. Yeah.
We had a I don't know if you ever noticed, but every single Cream video either takes place on the side of the house, or the
the
basketball
back.
side of the house, or the
Right,
very or the back side of the house where there was no camera. My dad has this fascination with putting up cameras at every single vantage point. Dad, please watch this. You don't need it. No one's gonna rob us. We live in the middle of freaking nowhere. Don't rob him now. Guess that. No, but my cameras at the front of the house.
I have a back more than
I'm the back one, so it's not there. But at the time, we recorded the house because there were no cameras, and we were awkward. What do you guys do? Nothing. Especially Aiden wearing like a gay gang member. It's like, it was very weird. So we were very awkward around cameras. But when it comes to, I gotta make sense with the story. We just had to. We wanted with every episode, every episode him leaving or entering the. It's just one thing we wanted to do. It's just happened.
And are these characters have names?
Uh, I mean,
We, we
it.
did. I forgot him though.
Yeah, I remember Aiden. Remember my guy. I was Epic Gamer 337.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever gave Aiden's character a name. What the idea of the story was, towards the future of the series, there is some like meta lore to it, but I don't even know that if we do decide to remaster the whole series and remake it again, if we even go down that path. I told you about it, Cole. I
You
don't
did, yeah, you did.
I don't even know if you would want to go down that path. But I think because all the characters, as you realize, knowing what I told you earlier, all the characters in the series are me except for Jeffrey, and there's a reason for that. They're all me,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean by that. I don't want to get into it because that's all a bunch of lore that may or may not even be canon at this point. I don't know yet.
And I do like that idea of the story though, but bringing in other characters to play different versions of you wouldn't make sense in the end. Once you figure that out, like once all that's figured that out, that they're all the same person from different timelines, it doesn't make sense for other people to play them.
Exactly. So that's why I said I don't know if I want to make that the official canon, and it could be,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a whole idea about it, and it's all kind of silly. I don't want to get too much into that, but I've already forgotten the question. What was the question?
I asked what the characters' names were.
Oh,
Um,
yeah,
but
so Aiden's character or my character was EG 337. He's like an agent, Epic Gamer 337. He's just a random character in the story in this time and age, but Aiden's character is just, as you could tell, they all look very weird. They both have masks on, and so this actually takes place farther down the line of the story. In between.
where nobody speaks,
Well, in between.
everybody talks in subtitles.
Everyone talks in subtitles. So this was a weird part during. As you could tell. Let me explain. So, in the first season of Cream, takes place of Jeffrey moving from point A to point B. He's trying to find his cream, and he ends up failing, and the basketball bandit attacks him. Well, and after that is the Grand Theft Uno. This is all a timeline. It takes place in a timeline. It goes in order. So even that as a side story, it still goes in order. So it's like 15 years in the future. The war for the cream has started. Everyone's got like their post-apocalyptic masks and stuff on, and I think we were
So
like,
it's just a really funky version of Mad Max.
I guess so, yeah. And like Uno cards are the currency, I guess, at that point is what we were thinking about. We wanted to make a reverse card meme video, and that's what we ended up doing. But in the lower side of it, I guess Uno was the currency, and this is about 15 years into the future of Jeffrey being attacked by the basketball bandit. That's where this takes place.
So that's 15 years prior to Jeffrey being attacked.
No, yeah, afterwards, yes. Post.
And Grandpa's Gift starts
15 years after that.
15 years after the 15 years.
Yeah, so I mean, we had the idea. So I think you'll find out.
Gift starts 30 years after the attack.
Grandpa's Gift starts, I think it was 30 or 37, something like that. 30 to 40 years into the future after Jeffrey gets his cream stolen from him and then gets attacked by the basketball bandit.
So during the time of Grand Theft Uno, where is Jeffrey? What is he doing?
He's bedstruck. His grandpa took him and has been taking care of him.
Okay.
That was the idea, and before before this episode, next episode, Grandpa's gift, you see things happen to Grandpa. He's been taking care of Jeffrey. Jeffrey has grown, and he leaves him with a parting gift, a robotic arm, a bionicle arm, to aid him on his journey to continue the world of Cream. So that's where the next episode takes place. That's where Jeffrey's been this whole time, is sitting inside of his home, being taken care of by his grandfather. Where Jeffrey's parents are is unknown, untold.
I don't have parents.
He don't have parents. He's a
Right.
I adopted myself.
I just have one last question. These two characters, did they have plans to make any future episodes? Were they going to have any impact on the story in the future?
I don't know if Aiden's character. I think Aiden's character was just a bystander. I think that episode, Grand Theft Uno, was a secret message saying this is this character, my character. That was his entrance into the story without actually being entered into the story. I would like to say, if that makes sense. I think that was his way of entering the story without giving too much. Like, who is this mysterious character? Obviously, you're asking questions about it. You don't know. That was kind of the point, I guess. At the time, we were actually just making it because we wanted to make another skit, and we didn't know what to do, so we called it Grand Theft Uno, and I attacked him with the card of Uno cards. But putting it into a lore standpoint, I think that EG-337 was introducing himself into the story, and it was very subliminal. Now, Aiden's character, I don't know, Aiden, did we ever even give your character a name, or were you just an innocent bystander being attacked?
Yeah, just some random dude.
We just put a paintball mask on you and attacked you.
No one's allowed to see my face anymore.
Yeah. You ready for the next one?
I'm ready for Grandpa's gift.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, Jeffrey. You stupid little kid. All you had to do was beat that basketball bandit. The game pig. But you suck. As we all know, you suck at everything. That's what your dad always said. So, you cut your hand off for it. The basketball bandit did, because you suck. So, I'm gonna give my last little greeting off to you. I'm gonna give you a bionicle one. Alright, here we go. Yeah. Round. Get it on it. There you go, sonny. There you go. I'm dying. Oh, shit.
I think it's great. I think it's a great way to start it.
All right, pause. Yeah, that was the teaser trailer for season 2, Grandpa's Gift. I loved that.
I love the character.
Oh, the Grandpa character? Hell yeah. So,
The Grandpa character is my favorite character of the series.
yeah, so basically, as you could tell, Grandpa's been taking care of him. He seems pretty pissy at Jeffrey. To be frank, he doesn't look very happy with Jeffrey in his coma state. But he takes care of him because he's family. And I guess he knows that he's passing because he gives him a bionicle one. A bionicle arm. Aiden had no idea what I was talking about when I said it. Because with the voice that I put on for Grandpa's character, I'm gonna give him a bionicle one. You can't understand what the hell I'm saying. Basically, I gave him a. Yeah. So behind the scenes here, this is probably the 10th time we've recorded this. 10 times I've fallen onto the ground because Aiden could not keep from laughing. He just couldn't. As you could tell during that episode, he actually had earbuds in his ear the whole time because he just couldn't keep from laughing from the voice, I think is what it was. Something like that. I don't even remember, but he just couldn't stop from laughing. And this was actually 2 or 3 months ago. What, Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. It was in January.
Something like that. Christmas or something. Oh,
I think it was January. It's probably Thanksgiving.
yeah.
Because I
It
remember.
was uploaded in January.
Yeah. So.
It was it was it was cold. I know that. So
Yeah, it was very cold. I
it's-
think it was.
Yeah.
It was probably between Thanksgiving and Christmas, but I know that it was pretty recent. But we had exactly 2 hours or so before my dad got home. We wanted to record the
Yeah.
whole thing and have it done. No more recording by the time he got home, and we did it. That's why this is all so rushed.
Barely,
It feels
but we did
like,
it.
yeah, barely. I think he got home by the
I
time
think
we were
it was-
done.
I think it just feels rushed to you, but
It
my
really.
perspective as the viewer, it doesn't look rushed at all. I think it was a nice tempo
It's
through
the
the
it's
second part of the story.
it's the creator's block side of it. I feel like I failed this season of it. I feel like it's rushed and it was poorly edited compared
Yeah.
to the first season. I feel like with the skills that I have, I feel like it was trash in comparison. But I did enjoy it a lot. Just watching it, I was like, this is not as good. Personally, I don't
It was
know.
fun to
Yeah.
make it though.
Oh, it was so much fun to make it, and it always is.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Well, personally, I like season 2 better than season 1.
there you go.
And most of that is because of the characters, though.
Yeah.
The characters that were brought into that were way more interesting, I think.
Yeah, we had a lot of time to think about it and build on it. Even though we came up with the characters in probably 3 minutes
Yeah.
at the time. Everything about this series is monologued and thought of on point. Anyways, you got any questions for us?
I'm ready for the next one, I think.
You don't have any questions for the whatchamacall? The Grandpa's Gift? Or no, I mean, it's cool if you don't. I actually want to point
No,
something out
not
if you don't.
really. You kind of went over everything that was in that video.
Okay, cool. I do want to point
I have
out
something to
that...
add too.
Go ahead, Aiden.
You can go.
Well, why don't you go first, just because I don't know what you're going to bring up. You might bring up what I'm going to bring up.
Okay. So one thing I want to say is like, we took it a lot of times, but if I weren't to laugh the whole time, like that whole thing would have been so much shorter because, every time I laughed or something, when he would restart, he would add like little
yeah.
stuff on. Like the bionicle part, that was
That
it
was-
was later in the.
Yeah, that wasn't even a thing in the first recording. The first recording was me going up to him and saying, hey, wake up, this happened, blah, blah, blah. And then every time Aiden laughed and we restarted, I kept accidentally coming up with more story. Because it was all coming off the top of my head. So I was just monologuing it. And as I got towards the end, he had a bionicle arm. And he was cursed. And all this stuff. Another thing I want to point out, we decided for season 2 that to explain the grandpa's character whenever he wasn't there, that we would have kind of an Easter egg of sorts. There is a shark wood totem in every single scene of this series, of this season 2. With any episode or scene that grandpa is in or not in, there is a shark totem in there, and essentially that's the grandpa watching over Jeffrey or something like that. But that's where that comes in, and every time you see any episode of this season, he's there, watching over. That's kind of the Easter egg. Find the shark. That's what we wanted to do. We wanted to put it in different spots every time. What you got there, dude? Oh yeah, here it is. There's the shark. Yeah, so I mean, I'm ready for the next one if you are, unless you guys got anything to add. All right, it's 3, 2, 1.
Jeffrey. 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 Jeffrey, wake up. Yeah, stupid. What? Hey, it's your grandpappy. How you doing? Shit. How you feeling? Been a while. You're a chosen one, Jeffrey. Did you know that? It's been 37 years since you got your hand cut off. See, you even noticed your band I gave you. How you like it?
Hot.
It's hot.
Yeah.
Well, tough luck, stupid. So, I'm your dead grandpa ghost. I mean, duh. Can't tell, I got my satchel. So, you're gonna have to go out. Since you're the prophet, you're gonna have to go out and find yourself the voodoo man. You need to go out and find the voodoo man. He's out looking for you right now. He's a very important man. He's gonna put you on your right path. Me, I'm just here to call you stupid.
What's so mean, man?
Well, I'm your dead grandpa. It's just how it does. Dress up time. Poof!
It's great. It's great. It's so much better.
Oh, it's so good.
I think it's so much better.
Dude, one thing that I always liked is the exits and entrances where I did the pop-up, Cream Season 2, it just feels so good, like, whenever I fell and died in Grandpa's Curse, poof, it was there, and I was like,
Yeah.
it's
But
sick.
what I can tell you just right off the bat about what's better is the editing. I think the editing is so much.
Oh yeah, it's definitely grown.
And it's not only the editing, it's along with the production side of it in this season.
Oh yeah.
Because
This
it was really that whole sequence of him getting in his character outfit. I thought it was so much better than the previous season.
Oh yeah, the difference that we made between putting on this,
Yeah.
because not only has it been a year of me doing YouTube at this point I had just hit my first year on YouTube. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of production value that has grown between, because as a YouTuber you kind of have to just learn how to edit and do stuff. You can tell his Xbox is on. We didn't even care.
What's on? I didn't even notice that.
Aiden's obviously grown like 5 inches since the last video. He's gained weight. He's a
Yeah.
big dude now. He's a dude. He went from being a kid to a dude. So I mean, yeah, the production value definitely went up. I feel like whenever we first started, we were like, you need to put this outfit on and then jump in and out of the closet with it on, and that was supposed to be the outfit. We didn't want to show him. I think the reason why we didn't do the whole Batman scene thing where he's putting on his watch and putting on his hat and all this stuff was probably because at the time we wanted him to go jump in the closet, jump out with your new outfit, like Superman style. So season 1 was Superman style. Season 2 has seemed to be Batman style. We're switching characters. So that was one of those things. I think,
Yeah.
and I think that this was a lot better in comparison. I felt a lot more happier making it this way than I did the first time.
Yeah, it looks way better.
Oh yeah.
One thing that I really say that very well improved from the first season is the dialogue. I think that's what gets me with that grandpa character. I think that's why I like him so much. It's because he had so much more detail in his character. Even though not much was said about him,
He was
compared to all the other characters, you can gain a lot from him speaking of how his character is and how he treats Jeffrey and how his life is, why
Right.
things happen to him the way things happen to him.
Right.
So it added a lot for that character and for that season.
Yeah, the grandpa.
I think there's been more dialogue in the first season, and a little less of kind of sequencing with the music. but the way you did it in season 2, evening them out, it worked perfect. I thought it was great.
I'm glad you think of it that way too. I agree with you on that stance. I felt like we did a lot more talking and it was a lot more pushed out and spread out, and I really liked the idea of that.
It
Um,
looks way better whenever you take your moments,
oh yeah,
which it was awesome in this season. Being able to kind of sit in the same spot for a few minutes and have input to the setting there
yeah.
instead of
Sit down and
every
realize, take it in,
5 seconds it's like a different frame.
right? Take it in, kind of thing.
Yeah, I
Um,
like it.
I do want to say that everything in this entire series, season two, was completely monologued. From the very beginning, Aiden doesn't have his original outfit. As you can tell, he's
Yeah, I was
grown.
gonna say something about
His
that.
whole. You want to talk about it?
Sure. So like the shirt, no, originally I couldn't find
The
the
vest.
orange vest I had, and I found it eventually, but I realized that it was like way small on me, so that didn't work out. So I got the black.
Do
Lo-
you still have it on you? Have you made sure to keep it all in one spot?
yeah, I still have it all, like the beard, and all that good stuff. Um, but yeah, like the watch, that was like an upgrade from the previous season. You know how I had that little crappy watch, and then the beanie was like, because I had the other beanie,
Now you have
but
this
we
one.
we used that beanie. Yeah, we used that beanie because it was better looking and better
The
overall.
production value grew between seasons only because Aiden has grown as a human being. He
Yeah,
could no longer wear the clothes that he had previously, and so now this is the
kind of wear
Jeffrey
crop
outfit.
top.
Right, but if we do remake it, I'm sure that we'll be able to sit down. I could probably even go to the store and we can buy us all outfits. It could be a thing. I think that would be pretty
But
sick.
the thing, I do like the season 1 outfit better,
Yeah.
because it's so bright and it kind of makes you look like a cartoon character, and
Yep.
it's great.
That was
Like,
the point. We wanted him to look
because
silly and
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
very pointed out.
because a lot of cartoon characters are characterized by what they wear because they always look the same, and I think it's great.
And that's what we
I
went
think for
for.
the series to be fitting if every character looked the exact same every time you saw them.
And that's what we went for. Obviously, we couldn't because Aiden,
Yeah,
you
I mean,
literally went through puberty. You changed,
yeah, I
like,
I didn't mean to go 10 inches in a day,
right?
so
Like there was nothing we could do about it. What happened
Yeah.
happened. You grew, and it had to change. Something had to change. So we thought that because it was a new season, that people wouldn't mind, and I don't think a lot
yeah,
did. Um,
yeah. A lot of people didn't even notice really.
I know a lot of people in Aiden's school were hyped for the next episodes. I know that a couple of his buddies always asked about it, and we finally put it out there. He was so excited to see it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I mean the intro scene to this season, Grandpa's Curse, it's basically the intro scene because uh, he's getting the story together. He's briefing everyone on what's been going on. He's been in a coma for 37 years. What happened? Well, the basketball bandit knocked him out and chopped his hand off. The grandpa's been taking care of him.
It's coma worthy.
It's coma, and I literally thinking back on it that the grandpa literally woke him from a 37-year coma
Yeah,
somehow by
That's what
calling
it
him
seemed.
stupid. He threw a bottle of pills at him and it was like a bazinga. There he is.
Yeah.
So I mean, do you have any questions on how all this went?
Um, how so? Season 2 was completely every scene just thought of straight from the top as soon as you started recording.
Sorry.
For each scene in season 2, whenever you started recording, it just all kind of came out like nothing was written
Oh
down.
yeah, I didn't actually say that. Yeah, there's no script. There was no there was a brief idea. Whenever all the characters you see in the series except for Jeffrey was made up on the mark. Grandpa, we were walking around Aiden's room. I remember this specifically. We walked around Aiden's room for 20 minutes looking for things to slap on my body.
yeah.
I ended up putting on his belt thing that you see as my satchel. My satchel. I ended up my satchel. I ended up putting that on and putting the hat on backwards and pulling my hair down to the sides.
Yeah.
And that was the grandpa character. And you'll see in the future, the Voodoo Man. We had no idea what to wear for another character, so I just put on a beard bandana thing and tied a knot in my shirt. Like we had no idea what kind of characters we wanted. There was no story. We had an overall story, but we didn't know how. This season was a completely side story. It had nothing to do with our broad idea of what we wanted to do with Cream. So this is just kind of a standalone weird story.
Yeah.
A side quest is what I keep saying, but we didn't. Doesn't have. It's kind of like a catch-up season. What happened.
Yeah.
It's an intermission. But yeah, no. Every scene that when we start, you can even see in some scenes, I take kind of a pause because I'm trying to think of what to say. Everything is brought up on the mark. Like,
Yeah.
if we didn't have to take as many steps in re-recording because of Aiden laughing or me dropping something, as you can tell, I dropped that bottle and I said, "Shit!" I dropped that bottle, and we were just like, I guess we got to keep going. It ended up being like a humorous moment in the episode, not meant to even happen. Everything that happens,
like a 30-minute.
Great. Everything that happens in this series is by accident or brought up on the spot. Before we start recording, we have a very, very simple idea, and then we act upon it.
Yeah. I think it's great. I'm ready for the next episode.
All right, I am too. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Jeffrey.
Grandpa?
Hey. Don't you ever rush me again. Boy, I killed a last man rushed me. The hell you got there? You smoking a ciggy?
No.
Oh, man.
No.
Your daddy taught you better.
Where's my finger?
Yeah, see that. Alright, well, you made it to the next part of your spot. I don't really know what we're doing here. What are we doing here? Oh, that's right. The Voodoo Man. Well, if you want to find the Voodoo Man, you're going to have to find the sunken boat. That's where he'll be. Now, if you haven't guessed it yet, your grandpappy's, he's cursed.
Okay.
I'm destined to follow you around, which is like the worst thing in the world.
Sounds kind of creepy, actually.
It is. It's quite creepy. You're the worst.
Oh, no.
So, what we're doing, well, I don't know what I'm still doing here, but, yeah, so find the sunken boat, Jeffrey. I'm cursed.
Alright.
That's the plan. You find a sunken boat, you can free my curse, and I don't have to follow you around no more. Poof!
beer.
The heck, bro?
Hey, it's just what I do. I'm the voodoo man.
So you're the one that cursed my grandpa.
I sure did. That's what I do.
So how can I break the curse?
How can you break it? Well, I don't know. I could use a beer. You find me a beer and I'll lift the curse off your grandpa.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Get the hell out of my boat area.
Stupid hippie.
I'm a beer troll. I like to drink beer. I like to drink beer. Tastes good in my mouth. It tastes good. Hello, how are you? I like to drink. That's really gross. Tastes real good in my mouth. It's what I. Who are you?
Ow!
No. No.
Oh, beer troll is dead.
Hippie. Hippie.
What? Hey, ain't no hippie around here.
Got your beer.
Ooh, I like beer.
You're good now? I need to do anything else.
No,
You good?
curse is lifted. Get out of here.
Hey, I'm gonna go back to bed. See you
Bye.
later, man.
Bye. Oh, Jeffrey.
There you go. That was
All right.
the end of season 2, Grandpa's Curse, Cream.
Grandpa's curse.
I have something I would like to input to kind of tie this all in together.
Okay.
The idea of season 2 is, I would say season 2 itself is an intermission season. Season 1, Jeffrey endures his adventure to find the cremator and get his cream back. He gets captured by an enemy, a basketball bandit. He gets knocked out, and we see what's going on in the world as the time flies. Grand Theft Auto. And then Grandpa's Curse begins, and it is a whole season based around the Grandpa. As you can see, it's based around the Grandpa because Grandpa took care of Jeffrey for the past 30 years, keeping him alive, keeping him sane, himself sane. You know, just this season is a tribute to freeing Grandpa, giving him grace. Rest in peace, Grandpa is what this season should be called. You know, but it ended up being called the Grandpa's Curse because in the end, this was Jeffrey's saying, "I love you, Grandpa. You're free now. I'm gonna help you become free." That's what this was. You know, he went on an adventure to save his grandpa and free him, to give him his soul peace. That's where I think this ties in. You know, because Because if he took care of him for 30 something years, he gets to send him off. And that's kind of where this kind of plays in as an intermission season. The next season would be, embarking on his journey evermore. So, shoot.
Ah,
Man,
it was great. God, that's such a good episode.
it's
I
so
think
good.
that one might be my favorite.
Yeah. I really like that
It
one.
might be my favorite episode.
Might be mine. I mean, yeah.
I guess I'll start with in the to be continued at the very end. Who is that character speaking?
That was the basketball bandit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, as we said, this is an intermission series or season. I keep saying series. It's all one series with 2 seasons. This season 2, is kind of like a between the waters. You're crossing the river. He's on the bridge, going to the other side of the island. Metaphorically speaking, because in the end of at the end of the basketball bandit captures him, knocks him out, thinking he's dead, leaves him in his bed to just be gone.
Yeah.
What happens next is Grandpa finds him, takes care of him for 30 some odd years, and saves him, and then in return Jeffrey sets the grandpa free. And in the end there, Jeffrey's going back to his room saying, what a good time I've had, just to bring him back to reality and say, wow, this is not it's not the same. The basketball bandit is still out there, the cremator is still out there, things are still happening. And so, to be continued, Jeffrey is kind of like reeling it back in. What's going to happen with season 2? We wanted a cliffhanger with each season, and that was it, to carry it on the story.
Okay. So, really the only thing that I could have asked for more of was I really wanted to know who Jeffrey was. I mean, the stories about him, and it's about his life, and what he's experiencing, but you really don't get too much in depth about who Jeffrey is, what his personality is like, and how his character is. You don't get too much of that.
And I think,
I guess my question: why wasn't there enough focus on Jeffrey's character, as in his personality and everything?
So I think what you're asking is, why is the story about Jeffrey, but the focus is not, right?
Yeah.
The story is about Jeffrey, and but there doesn't seem to be any focus on Jeffrey himself. Why is this happening to him? Why is he the one that's stuck in between this everlasting time-traveling war?
Yeah.
And I would have to say, I would like to say that he plays a part in the, he doesn't know it yet. He hasn't started his, the thing that starts the whole idea of why he travels back in time, the narrator and the cremator, why it's all happening. He, because it's like, he starts doing this study, and he begins this idea of doing stuff, and it never, he hasn't started it yet. So they're traveling back in time before that begins, so that they can, something like that. I don't know for sure why we never really embarked on who Jeffrey is. I don't think we know who Jeffrey is, to be honest. I think he was just the protagonist of the story that has, very simply, he's just Jeffrey. If that makes sense. I don't know exactly.
I think the major thing about why people viewing this don't really get a sense of who that character is mostly the lack of dialogue with that character. But I know most of the reason for that, because there isn't really a written script for the series. It was just kind of, there's a base idea, and you take it from there once you start recording.
Right. And that was kind of where the issues that we had during the recording was that we didn't know what to say. Aiden himself didn't really know what to say at times, didn't know what to do or where to put his hand, do stuff. the
Kind of awkward.
yeah, he was not very much on the creative side when it came to, the monologuing part. That was mostly where I would come in. So
Yeah.
Jeffrey's monologue idea, aspect on chatting didn't come in much. Any of the lines that he actually said was predestined.
Yeah.
And that was just that was a known issue. That was one of the things that we discussed. And that's just kind of how it turned out, and in future seasons that would change. It's all in a due time
Yeah.
kind of thing. I think that if we do take it and remake it all, that Jeffrey himself will indeed have, excuse me, he will have a more of a backstory. It will explain more things. We'll put A to B.
Yeah.
I mean, I do want to point out that the Voodoo Man was hilarious. I thought. I know it was me,
He was hilarious.
but it was a different me.
He's great.
Every character was a different me, but I felt like that character was hilarious. Um, and I do want to say that the beer troll character that we did, that was the shortest scene we recorded. It was a one-time done deal, and
Yeah.
it was just like, let's just do this, and then we did it, and it was like, I don't think we need to do that again. Also,
Yeah.
I didn't want to because I had to fall on the ground. I got a bunch of leaves on my hoodie, and it was very sad. That
That was like
I don't know.
the egg was so strong.
Yeah, it wouldn't
Yeah,
break.
I
I
had
think
like
that was
3.
one of the
Yeah.
that was one of the things, is that
Hurt.
it wouldn't break. We ended up having to punch a hole in it to then throw it at him. That was one of the things. For some reason, the egg was like an item that we used as a weapon during the whole series.
That
I'm
was
still
like the
here. I'm still
strongest egg we
listening.
had. I mean, like I had bruises on my leg and my back from it. Thing chunky. I
it
mean, it didn't even break.
it was dangerous, man. It was tough.
Yes, and then like you drop it on like a brick and then it'll just shatter.
Right. It was intense.
Yeah.
I I don't know. I really liked this season. Looking back at it now from the retrospect of how everything is going, I thought that this season was really good. Um,
Yeah. Just watching it over. I haven't actually watched it. Watched it.
yeah, you were there to make it.
Yeah.
So sitting back and going through and watching it, I thought that it was very good. The budget production was a lot better. I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
continuing, we have a broad idea of what we want to do continuing, and we could. I feel like what Cole said earlier about taking it and remaking it is a great idea. You know,
I would love to. 100%. I'm on board with
I mean, and we could get it done in a whole day.
rebooting the series.
We could
Yeah.
do season 1 and 2 in one day. You know, spend $40 and go buy a crappy outfit for certain things, and
Yeah.
3 characters.
The only thing that I think I would want to add to it is put more of a personal story for Jeffrey, and kind of get more of a sense of who that character is before his story is initially.
Like, well, I mean, if we take a look at the teaser trailer for Cream, it kind of I mean, I want to say that it explains the story of Cream and Jeffrey and who Jeffrey is in
Yeah.
general, but I feel like it doesn't. Now looking at it, it explains the story of the upcoming story. It doesn't explain who Jeffrey is per se. It doesn't explain the narrator or Creaminator. It just
I feel like
explains the
for a
broad
first
idea of the story.
episode- Yeah, I feel like for our first episode, there should be no conflict yet. And in a lot of shows and a lot of slapstick whatever.
Right,
Usually the first episode is just an introduction to a character,
right,
and a real conflict doesn't start until the second or third episode.
right. And we could do that. It
I just think it would appear better, and you'd really get a sense of who each individual character is,
Right.
instead of just first episode you introduce 3 characters and you don't know their relevance to each other.
I would like to think that we could. I would like to think that if we were to do like an intermission episode like we did with Grand Theft Uno, You know, that
Yeah.
we could make it make sense to where season 3 is quite literally season 1 and 2 remade.
Yeah.
You know, because we could say like, oh, the basketball bandit came back in time. We could make an episode where it's quite literally uh, Jeffrey and the basketball bandit are having a go at it, and you know, we could have Jeffrey come in and be like, you're not Jeffrey because he doesn't know about what's going on, but you know, we could have Epic Gamer 337 come in because he was sent there with the basketball bandit. You know, and
Yeah.
so they could somehow in some situation reset time and set it back to the first day and try again. And no prior knowledge. It's all a reset. None of them know anything anymore. It's all preset to that first morning. Except
Yeah.
we can go back just one more day and make it again. I think
I think that sounds awesome.
I
it would
think
work
that's a
like
great idea. I mean, the episode could literally be called "A Reset in Time." ... Just like Grand Theft Uno ... I feel like it would be a great idea.
Yeah.
I do want to
I think
give
that would work.
props to Aiden for that thumbnail. I wanted to use a thumbnail. I wanted to keep the thumbnails. If you see them right now, I wanted to keep the thumbnails very similar to their season. Season 1
Yeah.
had the blue with red with white, and season 2 was the purple with the new cream logo. I wanted the cream logo to be different each season. But I feel like because that is an intermission episode, that it should feel different. You know, that's just one of those things that I'm looking at and realizing now. I'm gonna props to Aiden on that. He's very good at making thumbnails. Um,
Yeah.
I think that that's just one of those things. But yeah, no, I mean, I loved it. I feel like that could be a really good idea to reset it. And this quarantine stuff is coming to an end real soon, actually. And I feel like,
Yeah.
I hope so.
yeah, totally. I feel like Aiden, if you want, like sometime you can make a plan to with Dad to like say like, hey, I'm gonna go literally 10 minutes down the road, basically, because he's not far from your house, I don't think. Uh, and we could be like, hey, I'm gonna go hang out with Ashton at our friend's house from school, you know, and we can go and do it, remake it. Let's do it. I think it'd be a great idea because we can spend. If we were to sit down and spend the whole day, we could get a lot done, a lot of budget done. Go ahead.
Yeah.
One thing I want to add for like the first episode, the narrator. I remember we talked about it when we were doing like a Stanley Parable thing. But
Yeah, the idea of the
Oh,
narrator.
okay. Yeah. Okay.
Does that make
That
sense?
makes sense. The idea of that character now. Of the
I
narrator.
I
I
had
like
totally
that.
forgot
Yeah,
about
wow.
that. I remember because I just played through Stanley Parable with Aiden. I remember I was showing
Yeah.
it to him for the first time. He was like, "This is brilliant. This game is hilarious." So we
Yeah, it's
took
cool.
that
Stanley
idea.
Parable is awesome.
Smart game.
We took the idea of Stanley Parable. Thank you, Aiden. I forgot about that completely.
Yeah.
We took the
That
idea
just
of
popped in my
Stanley the
head.
Parable, and we took that and put that as the narrator. That was brilliant. I totally forgot about that. And I'm out of Mountain Dew, and I'm
Yeah.
sad.
So Aiden, what
Hmm.
would you have done differently with this series if you could have changed anything or went in a different direction with it? What do you think you would have done?
I don't know, like if I would have changed like how we did it, but I know that my dialogue, I would have definitely put more into it and did
Yeah,
more like correctly, like it's louder and made
Yeah.
it better.
I remember that was one of the issues. Yeah, you have a lot more confidence now.
Yeah, I do.
And that's also just kind of a thing that happens, especially being one of your first, because this series was one of your first times like actually doing videos, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Like for the first
So,
season.
like I know
Yeah.
for me especially, yeah, for me and several people that I had brought along on my channel, their first time videos, you know,
Even me.
Ashton was one of them.
So
Yeah.
I was so awkward. I hated. I loved it, but I hated it. I was so awkward.
Yeah.
I had
Like
no
one of the
idea.
main
kind of
reason I wasn't
thing-
doing characters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know
it's-
why we did that. I wanted you to be the main character just because I wanted you to be into it. You know.
Yeah, but I was only at one because I was awkward and didn't like it. non-violence or whatever.
Right.
I think a reboot would be super great. I think
Yeah.
I think everything would work a lot more smoothly. I would love to keep the same slapstick feel,
Oh
but
yeah.
if we can bring together, everything that I know about like the production quality that we could add to it and everything that you have learned,
Right.
I think it would. I think it would look way better.
I agree. I think it would be
Yeah.
very cool to just
Yeah.
expand on it. I love the series. I think it'd be really neat to
Yeah.
have that intermission episode as like a, because I don't want to just say like, oh, we're just gonna remake it because we didn't like how it was a year ago. We know so much more now. I want to make it have reason.
Yeah.
I want there to
Yeah.
be a
No,
reason what happened.
I love it. I think it's great. I also ever think that those style of video is one of the best among YouTube of the platform on YouTube.
Right.
It's one of the best
It's like the who.
forms of video there has been,
It's like a lot of
and I
my.
wish there were more like this now. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the people, and I know you're not a huge fan of Markiplier, but one of his things that I love about him is that his acting and all of his skits and stuff, they're very slapstick.
Yeah.
Which I know a lot of people take that negatively, but I think it's a beautiful thing.
I do too.
Like Who Killed Markiplier was a silly comedic 5-episode series, and it was hilarious. There were like 40 different Markipliers and like 2 characters who weren't Markiplier, and it was hilarious. And that's kind of Markiplier's thing, is he's got this meta universe series, and that's really where my inspiration came from for the series of Cream on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that I was really into. I feel like it'd be a really cool idea to take the idea of that and make an intermission thing where we reset, and I think it's a great idea.
I think it would work.
I mean, if people are willing to wait a whole year just for another season of Cream, then they can wait a couple more months, if that.
Yeah.
Because I do want it to be a good production. I want it to be well edited, and
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. I was really into it.
Yeah, it was too. It was fun.
Anyways,
I would love to get together a crew for this.
oh yeah,
I can make it happen. Getting a full crew for this.
right. But we don't want too serious though. You know what I mean? We want it to be silly still.
Yeah. No. I know what you mean. But if more hands,
Oh yeah,
It'll be-
totally.
it'll run way smoother.
Right. I feel like it'd be great. Anyways, we've been going on for an hour and 25 minutes on the mark. Wow.
Nice.
Right here. Boom. 25 minutes. It won't be that long in the actual episode. I might do a
No, I'll be
two-parter.
back.
I'm not too sure what I'll be doing. But thanks, Aiden, for coming on by. I would love to have you on for multiple episodes at a time, because I feel like there's a lot of stuff that we can all three sit down and talk about and be really interesting.
Oh yeah. For
Oh
sure.
yeah.
But I don't even think you knew what this was until we threw you into it this morning.
Yeah.
But that's just how it goes. This is our new series, Big Bada Boom.
Big bada boom.
Big Bada Boom. We'll explain that. We might explain that in another. Did we explain that in the first episode, Cole, where that came from?
No, we didn't.
I think.
We'll do that at a later point. And there will be several other stuff that goes with it.
Oh yeah, I think that's just going to be one of the things that we talk about in among all of our other stories. But I think that this was a great episode. I had a lot of fun, talking to Aiden and you, Cole.
Yo, what's flipping, everybody? So I wanted to say that first off, what a great video. Big Bada Boom episode 2 coming at you hot. It was good. I loved it. I do have to say, the video, I'm currently editing it. It seems that in the end there, there's some iffy parts in the video where stuff happens, and I don't really know what the issue was, if it was my recording system, or if there was just a lag in the, I don't know. So you might notice some things in the video. That's just how it is. So the video did cut short at the end. I don't know what happened. I might have ran out of storage or something, but I do want to say that, god dang. Thanks for watching. What a good video. if you enjoyed, like, subscribe. Check out Cole Handy on YouTube. Check out Mr. Land, aka my brother Aiden. Check them all out. We'll be coming at you with another video of Big Bada Boom next Friday. All right. I got a little something. This is kind of behind the scenes. We have a mug. Now I know it's hard to see because my camera kind of sucks because I'm using a laptop camera. Get over it. Big Bada Boom. Anyways, so we have mugs. Go check them out. Link in the description. Yeah. So if you guys enjoyed, like the video, subscribe, check out the other guys. Sorry this one didn't have a proper outro, and catch y'all in the next one. See ya.